Yeah, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Capone, you know what I'm saying? One half of that dynamic duo, Capone-N-Noreaga. And right now, tuned in to Mikey T, the movie star, you know what I'm saying? Where the movies is made, you know what I'm saying? We don't edit shit. Keep it 100. Mikey T, the movie star. It's your boy Capone. My chick, QB. One.
You sure didn't edit anything off of that war report. So everyone knows you from the legendary duo CNN. Can you take me back? Can you tell me how it was growing up in New York? You know, your music depicts a crazy reality.
Yeah, I mean, you know, growing up in New York was crazy, you know, especially coming from Queensbridge, one of the biggest projects in the world, you know what I'm saying? If not the biggest projects in the world. So, you know, we seen a lot on the daily. I seen a lot on the daily. Then, you know, branching off the other boroughs, man, New York was crazy, especially coming up in the 80s, man. You know what I mean? That was like gladiator school in New York in the 80s. You know what I mean? It was, you had to learn how to survive. You either sold drugs or you was a stick-up kid or you was a fighter, whatever it wasn't good.
You know, through this life that you were living, when did you first start to see that music was something that you could get involved with?
The crazy thing is I always loved music, you know what I'm saying? Because coming from Queensbridge, like once again, my projects played a big part of my life. You know what I'm saying? I was blessed to be from a place where so many legends come from, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that we had in Queensbridge was the park jams. That's when, you know, you would see Rakim, you would see Curtis Blow, you would see MC Shan, you would see all of the Juice Crew, Bismarck, you would see a lot of people in and out the park, you know, and that made me fall in love with music. I either wanted to be a DJ or wanted to be a rapper. At that time, I wanted to be a DJ because there was a time when a DJ was kind of bigger than a rapper, you know what I'm saying? There was a time when, you know, it was DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, not Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That's how, you know, Eric B. and Rakim, you know what I'm saying? That's how things was. The DJ was the man, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I came in the game wanting to be a DJ, listening to old 70s music, the late 70s disco and all that. I wanted to cut them records up. And eventually, you know, I started getting into basic loving hip hop lyrics, not just hip hop, but the lyrics. And I said, you know what, I could write. And I couldn't, but eventually I learned, you know what I mean? But Big N.O.R.E from the infamous Mob, from Mobb Deep, he wrote my first rhyme, not as a professional rapper, let's get this clear, as a 12, 13-year-old kid, he wrote my first rhyme, you know what I mean? And from there was just everything that I wanted to do had involved music.
So was this actually before you met N.O.R.E?
This was before I met N.O.R.E, yep. This is before I met N.O.R.E. This is like 88 and 89 and shit like that. I met N.O.R.E in about 92, you know what I mean? But even when I met N.O.R.E, it was not music with us, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't music, it was, you my homeboy, you my dude, you my G, you know what I'm saying? We bidding, we wasn't worried about, I didn't even know he could rap, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know I could rap because we wasn't waking up beating on the tables and all that shit. We was watching basketball, and that's how we actually met, through basketball. That was our calling, basketball, not music. Music came into play probably 3 years later. We was on different sides of the jail, and my team and his team met in the championship. So the whole time before us meeting in the championship, it was like we would go to church and things like that to meet each other. And then that day we finally like had time. It was like, yo, don't play no D on me, I don't play no D on you. And I had like 35, he had like 30. And that was our introduction to homeboyness, to brotherhood, you know what I mean? That was our introduction. And I got him moved to my house, me and OG Pams, and because he was nice in basketball. That was our calling. And we had a dude named Asiatic. He was like Michael Jordan. Like he was too great to be 16 or 17 years old, you know what I mean? But, and then we went from there. We never talked about music. We never talked about forming a group. We never did none of that. We was like, when we go home, we're gonna get some bricks or we're gonna do something or whatever it's gonna be, we're gonna get some money. And that was on our agenda.
So put it in perspective for me, like how the two of you actually go on from meeting to becoming Capone-N-Noreaga.
Yeah, well, you know, Faith Newman, she was trying to get a situation for me, and that didn't work. And one day I had a session with Buttnick, I think it was Buttnick and Tim Dog. I'm not sure who I had a session with, but it was for my solo project. And N.O.R.E just had came home, and N.O.R.E was like, yo, I'm coming to the studio. And I was like, bet. He comes to the studio, and he's like, yeah, you know I can rap too. I'm like, word? Oh shit, yeah, that's right, I forgot, boom, boom. And I was like, yo, fuck it, jump on this record. And we did a record, and our first record was Panama Canal, man. And it was, you know, like, it was history because we never recorded together, we never rapped together, we never practiced our flows, we never did none of that. We just made a banger the first time we ever got in the booth together. And that's when Capone-N-Noreaga was created.
Yeah, that's right, because Capone and Noriega, those are two serious names, man.
Yeah. I was Kai Capone as a little kid, and N.O.R.E was always infatuated with Noriega as a kid. So it was only right we took our two people that we admired the most as far as, you know, characters and use their names you know what I'm saying? And because at that time there was a lot of mob things going on. You had Lucky Luciano, Lou Diamonds, and Lex Diamonds, and all these names, which was dope. We had to find a way to fit in and don't take nobody else's name, and it worked.
I appreciate you answering both parts of that question for me right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's 1995 that CNN appears in the Source Unsigned Hype section.
Yep, that was real.
You were in good company, man. You know, Eminem, Biggie Smalls. Can you tell me about when you found out you were going to be featured in the magazine?
Man, at that time, I was like, nigga, we made it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that was big for my mom's The Witness and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And I just felt like, damn, because you got to realize nobody in that column was superstars yet. You know what I'm saying? It was not like we're in that column where Big was a star. He wasn't a superstar yet. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it feels good to still be here right now at this moment talking to you and have been in that column. That says a lot about my travels through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So you say I was in great company. I say I was in blessed company. I was in heaven sent company because everybody, and even though Big, rest in peace, he lost his life, he still made a mark on hip hop that still has yet to be touched. And look at Eminem's mark on hip hop, you know, and look at CNN's mark on hip hop. Look at my mark on hip hop. So, you know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I never take any day for granted.
And even on a smaller scale, Capone, like looking at the being on that column, the Unsigned Hype, it's like, okay, this is going to be my job. I'm never going to go back to being a manager at a grocery store or, you know what I mean? It's like, this is going to be what I do for a living.
For me though, that I ain't gonna lie, I was still selling drugs. Like even though I was still selling drugs. I was still going out of state. I was still going to Baltimore. I was still going to Troy. So, you know, it was like, I'm in the Unsigned Hype, but I refuse to be broke and on the Unsigned Hype column, that because you know your life changes. Now you go from being the people wanting to get recognized to now you're recognized. Now you're in hip hop. You are in a magazine. It's like you made it. But I'm not gonna sit there and say we was rich at the time. I'm not gonna sit there and say we was broke. But we was doing what we had to do to survive and to live how we was living without, let's say, going to jail forever. You know what I'm saying? Because I already had a case. I want to get this clear. Like people like, how you get a record deal and all this and catch a case and all? No, that's not what happened. I already had the case and got my record deal. That's why I love Neil Levine and Penalty, because they signed me knowing I was going to jail. They had to give me a record deal, but they knew I was going to jail. And they still gave me a record deal. That's big, you know what I'm saying? So for me, you know, travels in life, man. Travels in life, man. Wow.
So looking back at it, what did you have to do to secure that spot? Like, you know what I mean? Did you have to totally leave that lifestyle? I guess you didn't really have to. Did you have to leave that lifestyle behind, you know, and focus on the music?
Uh, I mean, after I got situated, more per se, because like I said, I had to go to jail. So I think the time I realized that I got my record deal, you know, we in the Unsigned hype, we got LA out, we got these chips, excuse me, these chips lined up. We got them lined up. So now I could take my foot off the gas in the street.
I want to talk about the recording of the CNN debut album.
Uh-huh.
What was the mind state going into the war report?
Shit, the mind state was going in the war report was don't be Mobb Deep. Don't be just two rappers from Queensbridge. Because at that time, Left Rack wasn't known on a hip hop scale as it is now. My partner did that. Akinelli did that. But we didn't want to be just two motherfuckers coming out of Queens that they say sound like this or sound like this or resemble this or resemble that. We wanted to make sure that we didn't sound like nobody, we didn't move like nobody, and we make our own lane. And the recording process was over and over. Even though we used certain people, it was don't get too many Havoc beats, or don't, because then we'll put ourselves in a nutshell. Let's reach over here. Let's get Easy LP. You know, let's get Naughty Shorts. Let's get this person. Let's get that person. Let's get Charlemagne. Let's get, Nasheen. You know, let's get all these people that these people from our hoods don't use. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we come up with a dope sound, and we damn sure did.
So can you tell me about signing your first deal with Penalty and then moving over to Tommy Boy or Murder?
Yeah. I mean, signing with Penalty was pennies. Signing with Tommy Boy paid the bills, but it also came with a risk. It also came with less reward, because signing to Tommy Boy was, once again, getting in that machine that we didn't want to be in, getting in that machine to where you got to worry about other people dropping. On Penalty, we was the droppers. When we dropped, everything shut. Getting on Tommy Boy, they believed in us, but we still had to wait for Daylight to drop, wait for these people to drop. No disrespect to anybody, but that was just the way it was. And naturally, we felt we was better than anybody, as we should. So between that being that and me come home from jail, we figured, wow, should we fucking wait? You know what I'm saying? But I guess they had a plan, and eventually we learned that our plan would have probably worked better. You know what I mean? But, you know, it was a dope situation signing to Tommy Boy. But for me, it was like, shit, you go to Penalty and you say, I need $5,000. Neil will say, go next door to Edwin Holmes. Edwin Holmes will cut the check. Just like that. Tommy Boy, you say, I need $10,000. You might get that shit a week and a half later. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was just the level of respect and the level of cleanliness, the way Penalty operated, that Tommy Boy just had too many staff, 3 different floors and shit to worry about, to worry about 2 artists. So it was dope, but it was just a pain in the ass being over there at some point. That's why we ordered $50,000 worth of food and got the fuck up out of there.
So can you tell me about being thrown in jail before the album's release? Can you take me into that?
Yeah, you know, shit, you know, they raided the spot I was in, they raided my crib, and I got caught with some guns. And, you know, unfortunately, I was a felon from the time me and N.O.R.E met, that I had to do a bid. I had to go sit down for some time. There was no way getting around that. Fortunately, at that time, New York had the attempt possession law. So being that I got caught in the crib with it, I didn't get full possession. So I had to go to jail, but it was on an E felony instead of B felony. And I went and was doing my time and just was hoping that my album come out and it'd be dope and the people love it. And for me, the hardest thing was going to jail was that I wasn't gonna see the promotion side of it. That was the whole thing I wanted to do, like promote the album, run around, tour, do all these things that I read about other artists doing when they dropping an album. That was recording the album was exciting, but I was looking forward to putting the stickers up, putting these up, doing this and doing that, and photo shoots and all this shit. And I missed all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I missed all that shit to come home to be a millionaire, but I missed all that shit. But you know, like I said, everybody don't get that chance. Everybody don't get that chance. So you know, I'm fortunate.
So when you got locked up, what did N.O.R.E do to keep your name alive? You know, we had seen things in the past like Eminem wearing a free Yayo shirt at the Grammys. Is there anything that you remember in particular?
I mean, just, you know, saying my name in his hit record, Super Thug, and songs dedicated to me, making me executive producer on his album, his debut album. You know, he could have just made me executive producer, but when you open his CD, I'm inside, like that's me. And that for me, that was the best feeling in the world, because not only did my partner think about me, but he made me part of his history too. So no matter what we go through in life, I'm forever indebted for that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what brothers do. But, you know, aside from that, you know, making sure I had weed, you know what I'm saying? Making sure I smoke good, you know what I'm saying? Making sure that other rappers say my name. You know, Big Pun was on Arsenio, I think it was, or something like that. You know, he said, shout out Capone, you know what I'm saying? Hold your head. You know, a lot of rappers. It was just everybody he fucked with, he wanted them to feel my presence too. So they felt when I came home, they felt like they knew me. And they embraced me as like they knew me.
So let me get your take on the way the War Report actually came out, you know, featuring other prominent New York artists, like a lot of the guys stepped up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody stepped up and everybody did their part, stepped in and filled that void, you know what I'm saying? From Mobb D to Havoc, to Buster, you know, to everybody that was on the War Report, man. Like, you know, everybody helped out in their own way to make the War Report a smash. In the street, it didn't go triple platinum, but in the street, that shit is diamond.
So was it during the War Report when MTV actually came to the jail?
That was during the War, right after the War Report, during the N.O.R.E. That was actually during the N.O.R.E. album. MTV came to interview me, and that shit was a gift and a curse. Because it was a gift because the fans and the people got to see me, but as soon as that MTV shit stopped, they threw my ass in a box for 30 days. Then another 30 days. 30 days, shout it! 30 days, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, they ain't like what I had to say. And plus I had on Wallabies and glasses, and they said that shit was considered contraband because I was on loss of everything because I got a quarter dirty urine. You know, I was just bidding like a regular motherfucker. That's why niggas love me, because I was just bidding. I wasn't in PC. I wasn't one of them niggas who didn't come outside, go to the yard. I'm in the yard just like you. You working out, I'm smoking weed. I'm spending too, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was my shit. Niggas know Pone like to smoke and chill, eat food and shit. Like, that's what I did. I worked out sometimes, but you don't fuck me, I don't fuck with you. Anything else, you know, it's a problem. But that was just life, man. That was life at that time, man. But, you know, I enjoyed it because I met a lot of people. Being the only child, I met a lot of people that I deal with to this day that I call my brother in the pen, man. And MTV, the dopest thing about it is they knew that I was going to be in some shit when they left. So they called the jail probably 10 times after that interview just to make sure I was okay. That was dope. Nobody ever know. I never told nobody that. It's only the people at Penalty that was working there, MTV, people that was working there that was around. If I say this and they hear the interview, they're gonna be like, damn, that's true. They just want to make, because they knew just the way the guards was looking. When we leave, they're gonna fuck him up or do some grimy shit. And yeah, that's what happened.
Man, yeah. Can you tell me about MTV actually coming to the jail? Tupac had a jail interview. More recently, Shine. I think MTV came and interviewed Shine.
Yeah.
Mac B and Bang'em Smurf had jail interviews as well.
Yeah, but I didn't start this interview shit, but I think that I was maybe the second person, or yeah, the second person as a hip hop artist for MTV to come to a jail to interview. Because it was only Pac and me at that point, I think.
And then they
You know what
came
I'm
and got
saying?
Shine after you.
Yeah, they came and got shine. They did Shine after me. You know what I'm saying? But me and Pac at that time, because Pac was what, 90, 95? Mine was 97, 98. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no other rapper that was bigger than me and Pac went to jail with no fanfare. You know what I mean?
So just
So
imagine what everyone in there is thinking about you. The cameras are
yeah,
coming in there, you
because
know.
that's what they saying. Like only Pac had this shit, and I'm feeling good though. Like I gotta represent. I gotta have my shine on. You know, I wasn't rented. That was my shit. You know what I'm saying? I had to, you know, I had to take everything that I knew that was contraband and put that shit on. It was probably my fault I went to the box, but fuck it. I had to, you know, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, that was the biggest moment in my life because the wildest shit, I was, like I said, I was in the box. I mean, I wasn't in the box. I was on loss of everything. So I couldn't go to the day room to even watch myself on MTV. So when my shit came on, I snuck to the day room and the CO called me and he looked at the TV and looked at me. He said, oh shit, you wasn't lying. You really are a rapper. I said, yeah. Now all the people in the dome was like, what the fuck? We told you he was a big rapper. And my life changed. After that, everybody was cool. CO, you want to smoke extra cigarette, an extra 20 minutes that night? Go ahead. You got a superstar. But then you got the ones that hate it. Motherfucker, you know, I get thrown in the box for no reason. And it wasn't fair because the deputy of the jail daughter was writing me and I wasn't even getting the letters. He was just mad that she was trying to write me. And I never even got the letters. I never even said nothing to it. And he took my good time and everything, but I got a reverse because of that, because he showed impartialness. He showed that it was personal. He was trying to make me max out. That was my life in jail, man. So they took all my good time. And I was supposed to do 3 years, and instead of doing 3 years, I did 30 months.
Can you take me into how things picked back up for CNN once you got home from jail?
Yeah, you know, like, it was like, while I was in jail, I was seeing N.O.R.E moving, I'm seeing things, but the crazy shit was, on my wall in my cell, I had a picture of 2 cars, a Montero Mitsubishi and a Lexus SC, 400, right? I said, these are the 2 cars I want, right? So when it was time for me to come home, jokingly, I said, Joe, they said, yo, what you need to come home? I said, 10,000 cash, 3 cases of champagne, a pound of weed, and a mink, and all this shit, and a Lexus SC 400 or 430, or whatever it was. And they got all the shit. N.O.R.E said, yo, you got all the shit. We coming to get you. You got the red Lexus waiting for you when you get off the bus. The mink, the money, the fucking weed, all this is documented on MTV though. It's on their Capone's Home documentary that they had. And you seen Steph Level on the bus, you know, and it was crazy, but all that shit was real. They made all that come true. That's when I came home and I said, damn, I wanted the red Lex, but then I seen N.O.R.E, he got the GS Lex, and you know, he living here. I'm like, damn, maybe I was thinking small. They was like, bro, you thinking way small. Fuck that Lexus. Let's go to the dealer tomorrow, all types. I'm like, holy shit. That's when I realized that CNN is not Capone-N-Noreaga anymore. It's Capone-N-Noreaga. It's now CNN. You know how you made it when your name get abbreviated. That's how you know you made it, when your shit get abbreviated. So we went from Capone-N-Noreaga trying to make our name known to everybody calling us CNN. So that point, it was like the magazines. I came home to like 7 magazine covers and 13 magazine spreads and clothes bidding war for me, all types of shit. That's when I said, oh, this life is different. Yeah.
So Capone, at this point, did you find it hard to change your lifestyle? Did you find it hard to change your lyrics? Because you may not have had some of the same experiences N.O.R.E was having.
Yeah, nah, I mean, yeah, I didn't change my lyrics because.
No, you didn't. You were still rapping about selling
Yeah,
crack, being on.
yeah, I was still doing the same. I was still like not doing the same shit, but that time they took away from me, I didn't want to spend just being a celebrity. I liked being in the hood. I like going to the hood. So that's why I rapped what I rapped, because it's like I was really living it. Because if I'm talking to you right now, not you, but I'm in the hood and I'm on a bench and I'm talking to you, and the police blitz, they're gonna take me down too. You feel what I'm saying? Even though I ain't selling no crack, I got a hit record out. I'm not selling no crack, I ain't doing nothing, but I'm guilty by association. So damn right, I got a right to rap that shit because I'm living it with you. You know what I'm saying? I just don't got fucking crack on me. But if you need $50 and you say, Paul, give me $50, I don't know what you're going to do with that $50. But if you go buy crack and turn it to $100, shit, I'll just help you make $100. Not knowingly, but now you go to fucking fast for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but
exactly.
You got to watch what you're doing now because everything is a conspiracy. Everybody's a kingpin and everybody it is. A nigga asked me for $100. I got to give it to him in tokens or some shit. Like, you don't know what the fuck going on.
You cash app your homie $300. The next thing you know, you're in a federal indictment.
You're in a federal indictment. You know what I'm saying? So you cash at me, nah, nigga. Like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers take it like you foul. Nah, I'm playing safe. It's nothing safe no more. It's nothing safe.
So can you tell me about creating the second CNN album after getting out of jail? How soon did the reunion come about?
Shit, that was the plan. Like when I came home, it was gonna be the reunion, and we got right to work. We got right to work after Tommy Boy dissolved penalty, because we started at penalty, but then Tom Silverman just wakes up one day, it's like, I'm gonna shut penalty down. Fuck him. Fuck Neil Levine. He even fired what's his partner's name at the time? I'll get back to him, but he even fired him, Adam, I think. I forgot his name. I'm gonna get it. But he was just cold. You know what I'm saying? Tom Silverman was cold. And he fired his right-hand man, Neil Levine. And we told him that we want a certain artist to come with us and these things of that nature. And he said, okay. Then when we got there, he reneged on his word. He reneged on his word to everything he said with us. Only thing he did do was give us a boatload of fucking money. But that was just to shut us up. It shut us up temporarily. But when we found out the fuck shit that was going on, it was like, all right, you know. I'm not saying that he jerked us or anything, because he didn't jerk us. I don't want nobody to get that. It just didn't work the way we were supposed to work it. The shit that he sold us into working it, because we didn't have to sign the Tommy Boy. He was dissolving penalty. He was asking us to sign with him because it would make the transition easy. But we could have said no. We could have easily said no, fuck you, or give us this. And we played the game. Like, fuck it. Long as you bring these people with us, and you said yes, and then it didn't happen. And that's when things turn sour.
So can you tell me about, excuse me. So what was the difference working on the War Report to working on the reunion?
I was nigga rich. I was rich, but I was nigga rich. You know what I'm saying? Like at 23 years old, nigga rich is dope. You know what I'm saying? That's not fucking happens to every 23-year-old. Like I wasn't Mike Tyson rich, but I was fucking rich at 23. You know what I'm saying? Living on the fucking wall, like at 23. You know what I'm saying? So the difference in recording was that, and the fact that this was now going to be my baby, because I'm going to be there for every minute, every moment of the way on this album, and I'm a motherfucking go in. And I just wanted to make sure on the reunion album that I was well heard, well understood, well articulated, and it was about me. And N.O.R.E understood that. He let it be about me.
So how was it working with N.O.R.E when you got out of prison? Like, how did things pick back up?
Definitely a different N.O.R.E. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a different N.O.R.E. More smarter, more wiser. You know what I'm saying? Because he had that time to season out. You know what I'm saying? While I was sitting up, and then he took more of a, I'll let you handle this. I'm gonna handle this. You know what I'm saying? More of a, I got this role. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you how to do this, or let me show you how to do that. You know what I'm saying? And just rock with me. I'm gonna make sure we win. And also being my partner as to making sure that we drop the banging shit that we gotta drop. Because at that time he might have, you know, been not done, but I mean, like, he was successful. I wasn't successful yet. I was known. You know what I'm saying? And that was the plan, to make us successful. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I liked working that album, because I didn't have to wonder. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to wonder who we're gonna go to for some guidance, or who we gonna, you know what I'm saying, or what, because we did that shit together.
Yeah, N.O.R.E was 2 albums in at that
Yeah,
point.
it was 2 albums in, you know what I'm saying? 3, actually, 4. War Report,
Facts.
N.O.R.E, Melvin Flint, and The Reunion. Because Melvin Flint came out before The Reunion. So he was 4 in. I was 1. Not even a whole 1. So you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a head start. It's like giving a nigga 4 laps before you take off. You know what I mean? So that was definitely, I definitely learned to listen and watch and observe and become my own boss and do things that I know that help us win as well. So it worked out for us.
So we spoke on first signing to Penalty.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember most about leaving Tommy Boy for Def Jam?
Ordering $50,000 worth of food. We ordered 100 pizza pies, 30 steaks, 17 Mr. Childs, 40 Benihana's, 30 patty melts, turkey melts, 45 egg foo youngs, and shit. It's a lot of money, And at that time, you know, the record labels, the stores, they didn't take money. They had their account numbers. So you order whatever you're gonna order, it's going on the account card. They don't know. So these companies like, what? 45? They taking it. They ain't asking for nothing. They got their card on file. So they don't gotta ask. All you gotta do is have somebody sign for it. We sending one of our niggas up at the door. Big pallets of shit coming. Oh, don't worry, that's us. We taking the shit we want and then leaving the shit we don't want. We taking the Mr. Childs, the Benihanas, everybody taking all that shit. We leaving them the McDonald's, the 50 pizza pies, the 70 steak sandwiches, and yeah, we OD'd. We OD'd. The next day we went up there to see as much as we OD'd, and the police was right there at the escalator. Was like, y'all are not allowed in the building. If you arrest y'all asses. We was like, yes, it worked. Word.
Really? I mean, what was that, like $5,000 or $6,000?
A fool?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm talking about like fucking 20, 30,000, 50. It was like 50,000. That shit was like, it was money so tall, oh, bitch would fall. Like, it was like 50,000. But it was the best thing in our life. Even though I think we had to pay it back. We was getting so much money at the time, though, but it was like, fuck it, we got to pay it back, we pay it back. But it came out of budget somewhere. You just ain't see it, but it was just dope just to fucking have it happen.
No, I heard you speaking on it, and it's like, yeah, if we got to pay it back, pull it out of the money you owe us, and while you
and we good.
What's the money you owe us?
Yeah, Leo Cole wasn't sweating that. Leo Cole was laughing at that shit because he's like, that should have never happened at Def Jam. We was like, we know that. He was like, this is a different league. Because we knew Leo Cohen. And that's like I said with N.O.R.E, like he had that in his back pocket. Because Leo wanted CNN. He wanted us.
Who was it that brought you guys over to Def Jam, man? You had mentioned Leo Cohen.
Yeah, Leo, Tina Davis, Kevin Louse, Dream Team. I call them the Dream Team because that was everybody dream team. Like if you dreamed of working on Def Jam, you dreamed of working with one of those 3 people in your life. Leo, Tina Davis, Kevin Louse. I always salute them because they gave us a shot. Even though at that time, we was like the bad boys of the game. We coming to the club 100 deep, fucking niggas up, you know what I'm saying? But overall, they believed in us, you know what I'm saying? And then the first thing they signed us up for, we had a shootout at the radio station. Hey. But they had our backs, so, you know, that was not something that we was planning to do. It just something that happened. But at the end of the day, everybody's cool now. You know, people went to jail. Like, salute the whole. Everybody was involved, man. Just salute them, man. Word, because that was the worst time. Like, I think for hip hop, right there, for that happened.
Damn, was that the whole situation that Little Kim had to lie over?
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? But you know, shit, man. You know, it changed the lives of a lot of people, man. You know what I mean? But fortunately, nobody got their life lost in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got their life lost in that situation. No lives was lost. You know, fortunate.
Let me ask you, man, what went on at Def Jam that led to CNN never actually putting out an album over there?
That because I was banned from all radio stations as far as Clear One and Clear Channel and Radio One. I was banned from everything. Me and Little Kim, it took us about 2 years, a year and a half for us to get something played on the radio. And at that time, they had to make a choice. They said, all right, we're going to go with N.O.R.E next project. Because actually, my solo project was supposed to come out right after the CNN project. But now I'm out the equation, so they had to think fast. So what they did was put us on tour so I could keep getting money and go with the God's Favorite album.
So in 2005, what was it that led you to leaving Def Jam while N.O.R.E stayed? Was it that?
The changing of the guards. You know what I'm saying? Leo, everybody was leaving. Everybody left. N.O.R.E stayed because he didn't stay at Def Jam. He went to Roc-A-Fella.
Right, Jay-Z.
He went to Rock for me, you know what I'm saying? So he didn't actually stay on Def Jam. He just went to a subsidiary in Def Jam, you know what I'm saying? I wound up going to Koch because they had a lot of money for me, and it was quick and it was easy to do. And they had a lot of success with Ball and with Jimmy.
Right. You know, how did you feel rapping on the follow-ups, you know, going into albums like Channel 10 and the War Report 2?
I loved it. Like, Channel 10 was dope because that's when me and N.O.R.E was back getting our swag back together, because it was a lot of shit we was going through personally as brothers. And War Report 2 was dope because I had to work with my bro, Raekwon, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you know, if my mama had a child, I would definitely say Ray one of them, you know what I'm saying? But my mama had another child, you know what I mean? But, you know, Ray is definitely my brother, his whole family, Don, you know, Kay, you know, these are definitely, you know, my family. That's one of the reasons I live in Jersey where I live. This is one of the reasons where it was so honest and easy for him to say, yeah, let's do War Report 2. I was like, okay, because he just came off Cuban Link 2. So why not? Let's you know, you obviously, you know, the blueprint and working the number 2. That was as powerful as yours. So let's try it. Didn't work out, but fuck it, we did it. No love lost, no animosity, no hate in the blood. It's my fucking ace.
So doing the War Report 2, what was it that made you want to do that more? Was it the fans? Was it a check?
It was Cuban Link 2. I seen the success and the love that Ray got from that. I was like, if we're going to do a War Report 2, because everybody kept asking for the War Report 2, War Report 2, War Report 2. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, when people ask for a part 2, they don't want the part 2. They're going to not respect the part 2. It's never happened. People don't respect part 2s of classics. But Ray did it. Ray did it. Like, it's no other artist right now that put out a part 2 that won as much as Ray's part 2.
That's facts.
Nobody.
Now, War Report 2 is more of a nostalgia thing. They're like, take us back there.
Yeah, you know, we did the Army Fatigues, we did the Cover the Same. You know, we did a lot of things to give you that feeling. It's just we was too advanced in music. If it would have came out maybe 8 years prior, you know what I'm saying? If it had came out maybe like in 2004 or something like that, 2005, 2004, 2003, it'd have probably been a better feeling. You know what I'm saying? But when you putting things out and it's already 10 years later, 12 years later, people start tending to think you desperate. Like, oh, now y'all want to do a war report too? You know what I'm saying? Been asking for this shit for 7 years, you know what I'm saying? Type of shit. So, you know, a lot playing to that, you know what I mean? But overall, it was a dope ass time of my life. We went on tour, we had fun. We had the hotel plug in the room for $35 a night, wind up paying $250 a night because we smoking like a motherfucker in the rooms. And they finding us every night. We just don't know until we get the bill. It was funny. Have fun though.
Man, Capone, you were the rock star they said in the jails, bro. I'll say that.
Factual.
There's another versus battle that everyone has been talking about. It's rumored. I've got to ask you about it. Beans Eagle versus N.O.R.E. Can I get your thoughts?
I mean, there ain't no question who I'm rolling with. You know what I'm saying? I love Beans. Beans dope. Me and Beans gamble together. We have fun. You know what I'm saying? But shit, you never go against the grain. I love it. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. You know what I'm saying? Two different styles of music, two marks in the game. Made people who made marks, but yeah, I'm going with the home team. Come on. My boy got hits, man. And you know, like, come on. Yes, come on. I would love for this to go down. You know what I mean?
So looking at N.O.R.E. and Beans, how do you personally feel that they compare to one another?
I mean, both had great careers. Both made great songs. Both, I think N.O.R.E. probably got him on a hit record scale, but Beans got a history of great features and great songs and just being the state prop boss he is. It's no telling what he could bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? And N.O.R.E., we all know the features, and it's just so much that they both could bring to the table. You know what you're gonna get from both sides. You know it. So I don't want to hear nobody talking about the lyrical this or lyrical that. We know that that's two different sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear records. We want to see shit rocking. Like, come on. We already know what we want. I know what I want. So, you know, y'all see. But don't sleep on Beans.
Now, N.O.R.E. actually said he would be bringing out the War Report. You had mentioned it earlier, you know, when you had one album, N.O.R.E. had four. What's your take jumping on the stage for that, man?
Hey, if it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? I might just be a spectator. I'm going to be there for sure. Trust. But, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be a spectator. I don't know. But, you know, as long as I'm there, we lit. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen.
And something maybe you could be a little bit more unbiased about. We've also got the Locks and Dipset coming up officially.
Yes. Now that I'm going to be a fan for. I might have to be there. 9 times out of 10, I will. But that, I'm looking forward to that because that is definitely like fair game. Fair game. 3-on-3 basketball. Fair game. Both era rappers, fair game. Fair game. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Long as Freaky Z, you know, come out there and lift up the whole Madison Square Garden. That nigga diesel as hell. I'm trying. I'm working. Well, it's my guy.
Hell yeah, man. And a quick prediction on that, though?
Nah, man, I'm staying neutral. I'm in the neutral zone.
Oh, you're staying
I ain't choosing nobody. We from New York. We're going to band together. You never know how that stage might look at the end of the night.
This is going to be amazing, man. I take my head off to Swizz and Timbaland for putting this together.
Yeah. It's starting to get there. It's starting to get there. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely starting to get there. And I think for just hip hop, it's like all these things is well needed. All this is well needed. It's well needed. Because I love all the verses, but I think this was well needed. Because even though we seen Jada and Fab, Jada gonna come out. He can't do none of the songs he did while he was on Fab. That's what's gonna make it even doper. All Locks records.
All right. So, yo, Capone, can you tell me about working with Foxy Brown on Bang Bang off the reunion?
Shit, yeah, Foxy was dope, man. Foxy, that was the first time I seen Foxy write her shit and go in the bathroom and come out and was like, I'm ready, I'm going in. And when she went in, everybody had the look on their face like, oh my fucking God, it's going to go down. And she definitely had us like, holy shit. Because nobody was on it like that. Nobody was coming like that on the record. And she took it there. She molded the whole record.
How did you feel about Foxy going at Kim so noticeably on the record?
Ah, man. The crazy thing is I looked at it like just two girls squabbling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I ain't saying nothing about Junior Mafia. You know what I'm saying? And N.O.R.E ain't saying nothing about Junior Mafia. So whatever they got to say to each other, they're going to say it on our records. They're going to say it on whoever records. Maybe they took it offensive that it was our record because Big wanted to sign me at one point. But at the end of the day, it's like, I can't control what she want to say. I can't tell her don't say it. Because then it's not fair. You know what I mean? I get to say what I want on a record, but she can't get to say what she want to say. So, you know, for me, it was like, I was sat back and enjoyed the cat fight. I was waiting for the cat fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how could you censor Foxy Brown on a CNN album? It kind of wouldn't be right.
It definitely wouldn't be right. You know what I'm saying? Because Foxy's not having that. Before you censor Foxy, you could try to censor Donald Trump. Like, it's not happening.
When did you find out? Did N.O.R.E say, or, yo, Foxy's coming to the studio? Did you personally set it up? Did the label set it up?
Nah, N.O.R.E said Foxy was coming through. You know what I'm saying? Me and Fox got history. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's all love. It's not like I was like, oh, shit, Fox coming through. Nah. I was like, fuck it. Fox coming through. Boom. He was like, yeah, she going to get on this joint. I'm like, word? And, whew.
Bang,
She
bang.
set fire to the flame, baby.
So, Little Kim, she actually challenged Nicki Minaj to a Verzuz.
Yeah.
Could that ever happen?
Yeah. I think the way the culture is moving forward, like grown-ups are becoming more grown. Like you can let the little girls and the little newcomers and all these things have a squabble fight. But when you're a vet in the game, you got to grow up. And I think finally, Nicki and Kim both grew up to a point where it's like, what the fuck are we fighting for? Like, we got to band together, the woman in hip hop, and do this. You know, you got Cardi winning, you got Rhapsody winning, you got Ari Lennox, you got all these people winning, and we sitting here worried about beef that we don't even technically have. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think they both gonna put this bullshit aside, and it'd be the best thing for hip hop.
Can you tell me how you first had the opportunity to build with Mobb Deep?
Shit. We all from the same hood. Like we all from the same block. Me, Have, Twin, well, the twins, Ty Nitty, Godfather Part 3. We all from the same block. You know what I'm saying? P was from Hempstead, but he basically lived on my block. So we all from the same block. We all grew up together. I was never actually working with Mobb Deep. I used to be like the nigga around Mobb Deep with the slammy on me, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, eventually, like I said, we grew up together. N.O.R.E wrote my first rhyme. We used to be in my crib making demo tapes, bugging out and shit. I was making mixtapes and, you know, but when I came home from jail, right when I came home from jail, that's when they was doing the Infamous. And it's like, you know, I'm just coming home from jail. They like, yo, nigga, you with us. At that time, I wasn't trying to rap and none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? They like, nigga, you with us. And you see me on the album covers. You see me in the press photos. And yeah, it was a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So when I finally got on and we had a chance to get somebody on the record, I was like, we got to do it, Mom. You know what I'm saying? We got to. So that's how that came about. And from there it was history. They was on every album, just about, or have.
What was the balance that you would say you gave N.O.R.E or that you guys gave each other? You know, with Mobb Deep, I guess you could say it was that Havoc was the producer while P was the major writer.
Uh, I think they both wrote, but Hav was definitely the producer. You know what I'm saying? And I I think Mobb Deep has something special. You know why? Because they started so early. Juvenile hell. Like you get kids at that point, they tend to lose each other in their 20s, in their late teens, and they kept that shit going, man. I'm you know, like if it wasn't, this is crazy. If it wasn't for Mobb Deep and for Dog Pound, there would be no CNN. That was the infrastructure that helped us get our deal so quick by making LA and Mob being on a record. That got us our deal.
How was it chosen that it was going to be you two groups coming together to respond to New York, New York?
It wasn't. We were sitting in the crib one day and we seen them kicking over the buildings and all that. Like, we got to say something. Because we tried to wait for somebody else to say something. Nobody said nothing. We was like, fuck that. We're going to say something. Whoever like it, whoever don't. And sure enough, it touched the masses and it got us everything. You know what I'm saying? It got us magazine. It got us everything. It got us everything. It got us our record deal because we answered. That's why I say Dad's a Corrupt got me and N.O.R.E on. Because if they didn't make New York, we wouldn't have made LA. We could have probably been trying for years trying to get a record deal. That shit ain't easy. But we had the Monty.
So back then, how did it feel going up against Snoop Dogg, though?
I didn't give a fuck about Snoop then. You know what I'm saying? I respected him, but I ain't know. I didn't care. I'm a 19-year-old nigga trying to get on in the game. So Snoop, he was big. I remember seeing Snoop at the Source Awards in '95. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get popping. You know what I'm saying? But just what happened was watching him inspired me more. And then they just happened to drop the New York record, and we waited and waited. Nobody did it. Come on, we in, and we went in.
I appreciate you giving me that little piece of hip hop history right there.
Yeah, it's real.
And, you know, I think CNN also inspired several of the other artists, you know what I mean, that have come out, groups and stuff like that. And it's like you were saying a little bit earlier, if you didn't take the deal with Penalty Records, you guys might have not to get to release the albums that you had released and make that history.
Yep. And let me tell you something. We had an angel, somebody walking with us because every album we dropped, we had a one-off. You don't get those. It's artists still paying for their last third album. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely Chris Lighty, rest in peace, Chris. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely people we had on our team, the way we was moving that allowed us to have a lot of freedom in the game too. Even though we was under a lot of contracts, we wasn't under a lot of contracts. We had a lot of freedom to move. And that was Chris. Chris had us one-offs off top.
Chris Lighty?
Yes.
Did you ever get to do any dealings, or did you ever meet 50 Cent?
Of course. 50 my bro. You know what I'm saying? Definitely met Fifth. You know what I'm saying? 50 good dude. I remember, you know, me and Fifth used to live in the same area in Jersey. We used to wind up at the Pathmark together. we would laugh and shit, you know what I'm saying? And joke. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Good dude. Good dude. Queens all the way. Queens all the way. He found a niche. He ain't got to rap forever. He found it. I love it. Queens hustle. That's the hustler's ambition.
Oh, yeah, that's right. BMF, he's definitely working major on the television market.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that.
Did you have a relationship with 50 before or after Get Rich, though? Was it Power of the Dollar days?
Before, yeah, definitely. Definitely before.
Yep.
Yeah, because, you know, at that time, too, right when I came home, you know, Fifth was he was just shaking. He didn't get shot yet. He was just moving and shaking, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it was a lot on it. He definitely had a lot on his plate.
You also had E-Money Bags on your album when you were doing jail phone calls.
Yeah, E-Money is the home team. E-Money is team, man. E-Money, rest in peace, Bags, man. Bags for life, man. You know what I'm saying? Bags is the home team. And I remember the crazy shit was we was in Japan and we seen a Japanese magazine and we just reading through the magazine and we got all the way to the end of the magazine and who's in the magazine? E-Money Bags. We couldn't believe it. Like, they don't even got us in the magazine. They got E-Money Bags. I said, that was dope. That's when you know you made it. Queens made it everywhere, everywhere.
Capone, what was it that made E-Money Bag so interesting to people, man? Like, to me.
Because everybody called his name. He was like an urban legend. Every rapper said his name in a song at one point. He was the urban legend. He was the urban legend, E-Money Bags. E-Money Bags, Sipmo West, Sean Dawn, Bolo the 62. Like, his name was in everybody joint. You know what I'm saying? Everybody joint. E-Money Bags' name was in.
Man, Capone, I really appreciate you sitting with me for an interview today. You know, I've actually interviewed N.O.R.E a few times.
Yeah.
Once he was getting a haircut. Another time I wanted to interview him. We were in the studio with Benzino. He's like, yo, Mikey, roll up a blunt.
Yeah.
Another time we were at Miami, down South Beach. He was Club Dream. He was across the street at the burger spot.
Yeah, cheeseburger baby.
Yeah. I pop in there. I'm like, N.O.R.E, what's good? We're doing the interview. He's like, Mikey, drink this 40 with me right here. I run into him in New York at the video shoot with Method Man.
Yeah.
Like, yo, N.O.R.E, what's good with an interview, bro?
Yeah.
Yo, Mikey, smoke this raw joint. Yo, man,
Oh,
I appreciate you sitting down.
That's good, yo, Mike. Super love, man. Super love, man. I appreciate you, having a love for CNN, man. You know, it's definitely a blessing. You know, they was like, how long you want to go for interview? I'm like, fuck it, me and Mikey chilling all night. I got a drink, you know what I'm saying? Fuck it, we in, you know what I mean?
I really appreciate you, Capone.
Super love, family. Super love.